You and I are not going to have a good time. I am now sending you for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, and you must come right back to court. I'd like to send him down right now for a drug test. I'm going to have you sign a receipt, and then I'm going to hand you off to take a drug test, and then you must come right back. Mr. Wyckoff tested positive for cocaine. Mr. Wyckoff, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not putting up with it. I'm not going to let you do this while you're on my watch. You know, I don't want you to continue to use cocaine, and that's it. And I'm not going to trust
cocaine.
you.
I can't even use cocaine. I have asthma. That stuff will break my lungs.
You tested positive for it.
I can't use it.
Mr. Wyckoff, I'm going to tell you, if you try to get into a pissing match with me, it's not going to go well with you.
Stop. The judge is talking. Face the judge when he's talking to you.
We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir.
In the second case before deputy arrived at McDonald's parking lot at 13532 Beechnut Street in Harris County, Texas, where he made contact with the defendant and a complainant who were near their vehicles. The complainant and the defendant do not know each other. The complainant stated that when he was driving on the public roadway, he accidentally backed his vehicle into the defendant's front bumper. The complainant believed that he did not strike the defendant's vehicle at the time of the impact and drove away onto the cross street. The defendant began to follow him. The complainant parked his vehicle in the McDonald's parking lot and observed the defendant's vehicle stop behind his car. The defendant approached the driver's door of the complainant's vehicle. The complainant opened his driver's door and asked the defendant, "Hey bro, are we good?" The defendant became verbally aggressive towards the complainant, yelling at him and telling him that he hit his car. The complainant remained sitting down in his driver's seat. The defendant was so close to the complainant that the complainant could not walk out of the vehicle. The defendant with his left fist struck the complainant on the right side of his face, causing pain. Defendant repeatedly told the complainant to get out of the car. The complainant remained in the vehicle while the defendant continued to yell at him, standing outside of the driver's side of the vehicle. The complainant had a purple discoloration mark with red swelling on his right cheek, consistent with that of a physical assault. The white area of the complainant's right eye was pink compared to his left eye. A vehicle inventory of the defendant's vehicle revealed a clear plastic bag containing two separate plastic bags of marijuana, total weight 83 grams, 2.9 ounces.
Mr. Wyckoff, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm going to tell you that all you really had to do was call the cops when that dude took off, and then they probably would have had that dude arrested. But now, because you took matters into your own hands, you and I are not going to have a good time. I am now sending you for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, and you must come right back to court. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir.
You run his license, please. Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
Yes, sir.
I want proof before you leave here today to see whether I'm going to allow you to drive or not. Number one. Number two, as a condition of your bond, you are not allowed to use dope or any kind of dope whatsoever or alcohol. If I find that you're using anything, I'm going to put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond sky high. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This license is eligible, Judge.
Thank you. I'm ordering you also as a condition of your bond not to be in possession of any weapons and not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case. Rachel, I'd like to send him down right now for a drug test. I'm going to have you sign a receipt, and then I'm going to hand you off to take a drug test, and then you must come right back. Do you understand? Okay. Mr. Wyckoff tested positive for cocaine. He also tested positive for, what else was it? Mr. Wyckoff, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not putting up with it. I'm not going to let you do this while you're on my watch. So.
Sorry, Your Honor.
It's okay.
Step forward.
It stops now. And if you don't, we have one place for it. You understand? You will be drug tested like crazy. I'm going to bring you here 2 times a week so that you prove to me that you're not consuming any kind of cocaine, alcohol, or any dope whatsoever. And the first time you test positive, you will go to jail. I know that you're going to test positive now for the next 3 days, maybe 4, but after that time, if you've continued to test positive for cocaine, then you will go to jail. As far as the weed is concerned, I will give you a 35 to 40-day window. And after that, if you test positive, that tells you that you've continued to use, and likewise, you will go to jail. And I'm going to tell you now, no more PR bonds. Do you understand? I don't care if you're mad at me. I don't care if you're, look.
I'm not gonna make it 2 times a week.
Well, then,
Drug test, not working everything. No, that's not gonna happen.
yes, it is.
All right.
I will give you the opportunity. If you don't, then that's fine. You don't have to come. You know what's going to happen, and that's it.
Judge, I would ask the court to consider just either once a week or every 2 weeks.
No, because he can still use and he can evade capture with it. And, I don't want you to continue to use cocaine, and that's it. And I'm not going to
using
trust
cocaine.
you.
I can't even use cocaine. I have asthma. That stuff will break my lungs.
You tested positive for it.
I can't use it.
Well, okay, prove it.
I have asthma. It's in the system.
Prove it. I'm not going to take your word for it. So that's I've already given you a lawyer, Mr. Wyckoff. You know what's expected of you. All you have to do, I'm not asking you to show up here. I'm asking you to just go take a test, and then you can take
Like I
off.
said, I work. I'm not finna take 2 times out a week to go take a test. No.
That is the bond condition.
All right. I could have paid my own bond for that.
It's still a condition I'm going to put on you, whether you paid your own bond or not. If you don't like it, don't pick up a new case. Easy solution. And I hope that now it becomes so miserable that you think twice before you follow someone next time. Because, like I said, had you probably just called the cops, they would have chased that person and arrested
I
him.
followed them to get their driver's license number. And I didn't follow them.
Don't talk about the case. I don't want to talk about the case. I'm just telling you what's expected of you, sir. Today's Tuesday. So what I'll do is I'm not going to have you come back on Thursday because I know that it's not going to be. So we can start Monday, testing on Monday, and we'll go from there. You will have to go take a drug test on Monday, submit it to the lab, and then you can go on about your business. If you test positive, you will be brought to court, and then we'll address it at that time. All right. Any questions? Anything else? Okay. Good luck, Mr. Wyckoff. Mr. Wyckoff, I'm going to tell you, if you try to get into a pissing match with me, it's not going to go well with you.
Stop. The judge is talking. Face the judge when he's talking to you.
Bring it. All right. Good morning, Mr. Smiley. Sir, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On August 9th, 2024, officers observed a motorcycle going 120 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone.
120.
Yes, Your Honor. The motorcycle had no rear license plate and unauthorized lighting. Officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop, but the defendant drove away and began to evade at a high rate of speed, ultimately getting up to 122 miles per hour. He ran multiple lights and was driving in between vehicles. A police vehicle shadowed behind, and visual was maintained by a helicopter. The total pursuit was 9.96 miles. The defendant then pulled into a gas station. Officers attempted to stop the driver there, but he again pulled away. Eventually, he ended up at a dead end where he dumped the motorcycle and hid in the woods. Officers set up a perimeter, and canines located the defendant. The defendant had an empty firearm holster on his waist. The firearm was in a nearby bush. It was a black Glock Gen 5 9mm. The defendant admitted to throwing it into the bush.
Mr. Smiley, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Can you imagine at 122 miles per hour, if you fall off the bike, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? No more Mr. Smiley, Mr. Frowny. That's what's going to happen. You'll be carnage on the side of the road at 122 miles an hour. You'll be mangled garbage on the side of the road, Mr. Smiley. And all that has to happen is the slightest. I am taking away your privilege to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care what it is, a moped, a motorcycle. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? What do you do for a living, Mr. Smiley? Doing what? So it's a full-time job. Okay. I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive, that you're not gonna be in possession of weapons, and then you'll be on your way. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Frederick. If he tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. I promise you now, there are no more PR bonds for you. Do you understand? I will do everything in my power to protect Harris County. At 120, if you would have hit someone, you would have killed them. And then you're charged with vehicular homicide. Think before you act.